An NBA champion is crowned. The 2026 season has almost officially begun. So the pressure's on the Orlando Magic. Favorites, among the favorites to win the Eastern Conference. What the Magic have to figure out before the season begins today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is June 23rd, 2025. My name is Philip Rossman. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com, credentialed member of the Orlando Magic media since the 2012 season. Today on Locked On Magic, we're going to talk about how the Magic shift into win now mode as one of the early favorites to win the Eastern Conference. We're going to get to what the Magic Stars have to do to deliver on the promise of their early offseason move. Plus, we'll talk about lessons from Oklahoma City's championship win over the Indiana Pacers. We'll save the other part of that for tomorrow. But first, before we do any of that, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day, whether we're your first listen of the day, whether you're one of our everyday listeners. We truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. Remember to check out Locked On Pacers and Locked On Thunder for complete coverage of the NBA Finals, Locked On Rockets and Locked On Suns for the big trade that happened early on Sunday that will not become official until July 6th, and plenty more throughout the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. The confetti fell pretty quickly. Oklahoma City, not a party group. You know, not a wild group there. No parties in Miami, no late night parties in Miami. Pretty chill group of guys. The NBA Finals are over. The 2025 season is officially done. The NBA draft is Wednesday. And we're already thinking about 2026. We're already thinking, the Magic have already been thinking about 2026. They made the trade to acquire Desmond Bane last week. And so we're already thinking about, how do the Magic get to that point? How do the Magic have their moment? And more importantly, understanding that the Magic can have that moment. There is no reason not to think Orlando could be the team lifting the trophy next season. There is no reason not to think that the Orlando Magic cannot be in that conversation. In fact, whether they want to or not, they are in that conversation. When Desmond Bane arrived, he said, "We are ready to win." Clearly, you don't give up your entire stash of draft picks, of first-round draft picks, if you do not feel like you are ready to win. And indeed, our good friends at FanDuel, don't think they have an ad read for this pod, but they're getting one anyway. Our good friends at FanDuel have listed the Magic as the 5th favorite to win the 2026 championship. In the Eastern Conference, only the Cleveland Cavaliers and New York Knicks are heavier favorites. To be certain, the move to acquire Desmond Bane on its own has elevated the Magic into a different conversation. If everybody, and a lot of people around the league believe this, everybody believes the only reason the Magic were in the 7 seed, were 41-41 was because of their injuries, and that they are a significantly better team. The Magic have gotten better. But ultimately, I say this a million times, you go as far as your stars take you. And that's what we're going to talk about on today's episode. You go as far as your stars take you. And the fact of the matter is, in the Eastern Conference, among healthy players right now, really only the Cleveland Cavaliers have a better star duo. Now, I'll give Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton their love. I'll give Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns their love. But the Magic are in that conversation. Paolo, Banchero, and Franz Wagner are in that conversation. And so now that the Magic have gone out and made this critical move to bring in Desmond Bane, now that we are expecting the Magic to continue to make moves to improve this roster for short-term success, Now that we all feel the window is wide open because of the Achilles injuries to Damian Lillard gutting the Milwaukee Bucks, to Jason Tatum causing the Boston Celtics to perhaps take a step back with the financial restrictions that they have, with, yes, Tyrese Halliburton, very likely, as I'm recording this, it's not reported yet, very likely injuring his Achilles in a serious way and potentially missing the entire 2026 season. The window for the Magic to compete, the window for the Magic to go for it, the window for the Magic to give themselves a chance to win the NBA championship is wide freaking open. I don't want to ponder too long on that thought because we're going to get to that a little bit more tomorrow. But it's open. And whether the Magic are able to walk through it is going to come down to how their stars perform. It's going to come down to whether Paolo Banchero, who will get his max contract, it can't be signed until July 6th, but they can begin negotiating it now. When he gets his max contract, is he going to be worth building your franchise around? Can Franz Wagner figure out his shot? We'll get to that later in today's episode. Ultimately, whether this Magic project is successful or not depends on Paolo and Franz. To be sure, then, the Magic have done their part. Jeff Weltman has done his part. He still has more to do. I'm not sitting here saying otherwise. But Jeff Weltman has done his part. He added an elite shooter in Desmond Bane. And now the pressure turns back onto Paolo Banchero, as it does for every star. This is not pressure. This is not assigning blame. This is reality. This is the challenge of whether Paolo Banchero can be the team's leader and can make all the decisions the Magic need him to make. It has been a recurring storyline in Paolo Banchero's career. And the Oklahoma City Thunder winning the championship does not alleviate that storyline. Chet Holmgren was the number 2 pick in that draft. A perfect complement to what the Thunder had and a key player in their Game 7 win. He had his best game of the series on Sunday night. He's got a ring. He's not asked to do all the things Paolo Banchero has been able to do. So when people say, oh, Chet Holmgren is a better player, it's no, Chet Holmgren is really good in his role, just as Paolo Banchero is good in his role. But the fact that the Thunder also have Jalen Williams drafted in his draft class, a quiet pick for a lot of people to win Rookie of the Year. I know Paolo only lost 2 votes. But Jalen Williams does a lot of the star things that Paolo has to do. And the fact of the matter is, drafting Jalen Williams is what elevated the Thunder to title contention. Jalen Williams being that good at that pick is huge. And so inevitably when Paolo and Jalen Williams are compared, they look at the efficiency numbers, not realizing that Jalen Williams has a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He has the shooting. He has everything that he needs to be successful. And look, J-Dub had some huge games in this playoff, especially Game 5 of the finals. Jalen Williams was also really inconsistent. He had some stinkers. The difference between Jalen Williams and Paolo Banchero is quite simply Paolo has to be that good every single night. And if you look at his early playoff record, and I know it's only 12 games, Paolo scored, 30 points in 4 of those games. He's had 20 points in 5 of those games. Paolo Banchero steps his game up in the playoffs. No one is concerned about Paolo in pressure situations. But now that the Magic have added such a significant piece, it's time for Paolo to put those pieces together. It's time for Paolo to put away the concerns about his efficiency and his decision-making and start winning some of these advanced stats. The pressure is on the Magic stars to step up. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Paolo and get into Franz Wagner's shooting issues coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Olipop. Olipop is a new kind of soda made for people who love the classic taste of soda, but want something that supports their health. With just 2 to 5 grams of sugar and 9 grams of prebiotic fiber in every can, Olipop is reimagining soda in a way that's better for your gut. Traditional sodas are loaded with sugar, like 39 grams in a regular Coke or 44 grams in an orange Fanta. Olipop flips that script with just a fraction of the sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and gut-friendly ingredients like OliSmart, a blend shown to support digestive and overall health. It's soda that tastes like the real thing, but actually does something good for your body. I'm not a big soda drinker. I kind of cut soda out of my life. I'll occasionally have a ginger ale, but Olipop sent us a bunch of samples, wanted us to try it and promote this product, and it worked. It's good. It's really, really good. I really love their classic soda taste, their classic cola taste. Tastes like drinking a gingerbread cookie. I don't know if that's what they intended, but it's got the right amount of sweetness. It does a good job. It tastes really, really good, and I cannot recommend this product enough. Get a free can of Olipop. Just buy any 2 cans in store, and they'll reimburse you for 1. Head to drinkolipop.com/LockedOnNBA to claim your free can and find Olipop near you. That's drinkolipop, OLIPOP.com/LockedOnNBA. I want to be real here because every time I kind of mention some of Paolo's weaknesses and things he needs to improve on, sometimes people start hitting me and start saying, this is why stars leave the Magic. It's like, no. This is constructive criticism here. This is a safe space. I am as fierce a Paolo defender as anybody. But again, you go as far as your stars take you. Your stars determine how good you are. And let's be really, really clear. When Paolo Banchero was healthy last year, he made the leap. He made the leap to stardom. If the Magic aren't planning for Paolo to make All-NBA next year, they're doing their books wrong. He is going to get the Supermax. He is going to get the 30% max. In the first 5 games last year, he averaged 29 points per game. That included three 30-point games and the 50-point game against the Pacers. He shot 49.5% from floor and 34.4% for 3, which, considering his volume, is incredible. Over the Magic's last 18 games, Banchero averaged 29.3 points per game, shot 47.7% from floor and 34.3% from 3. That went with 8.4 rebounds and 4.5 assists per game as the Magic rallied to get the 7 seed. The only thing that bothered any of us was that stuff in the middle. That month and a half, 6 weeks after he came back from the injury, when he really struggled, when his efficiency was really bad, and allowed his critics to start poking holes and poking needles in him. Look, Paolo Banchero is probably never going to be an advanced stats darling. That's just the reality. Paolo Banchero probably is, he's just going to be a guy. He's probably, I don't know how to put this. He's probably always going to take those super inefficient shots that all the metrics people don't like, but are vital to creating space and vital to creating tension in defense. Ultimately, where Paolo has to continue improving is with that decision-making, understanding when he needs to assert himself and score and when he needs to pass and how defenses are guarding you. Paolo Banchero was among the top 15 players in times double team this year. He faced a lot of exotic defenses, and on top of that, didn't trust his shooters. I can count how many times he passed up open shooters or passed up on passing open shooters because the Magic just were not good enough shooting. His shot was a better shot, and I can't blame him for that decision. But this is where things have turned now. The Magic have gotten that elite shooter. The Magic have picked up that player. They have a deep, deep roster. They have other guys who can help them and who can help grow them. I was checking to see if the Tyrese Halliburton news came down. They have other players now who can step up. And the pressure on Paolo is now to lead. It's now to be that guy, that everything. The same thing Jason Tatum learned, the same thing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the same thing all superstar players must learn. This is good pressure. This is pressure you want. Pressure is a privilege. To have this expectation, to have this responsibility, that speaks to the level of player that Paolo Banchero already is. And for the Magic to take their next step, for the Magic to take the leap, it's going to have to come from him. Just like it's going to have to come from Franz Wagner. Now, Franz Wagner last year made a leap. He made a huge step, a huge jump in his play. He stepped up in a major, major way. When Paolo Banchero was hurt, Franz Wagner, everyone questioned whether Franz Wagner could be the star, could be the guy that drives this team. And when Paolo went down, all that pressure went on to Franz Wagner. And Franz Wagner delivered. Career high 24.2 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game, 4.7 assists per game. He shot a career high 19.4 field goal attempts per game. He was shooting a lot, even though his percentages went to career lows. In the playoffs, he shot 25.8 points per game, 4.8 rebounds per game, 5.6 assists per game. We'll get to the shooting percentages here in a minute. Franz Wagner stepped his game up, and with Paolo out, in those 20 games with Paolo out, he averaged 26.1 points per game and shot 45.7%. If the Magic learned anything this year, it's that Franz is also a star. That investment, that max contract they gave to Franz Wagner, 100% worth it. 100% earned that deal. The Magic are not regretting that one bit. It may when they're in the second apron, but right now they're not regretting it. That was an investment worth making. But for everyone to be their best, the Magic need their best players to be able to support too, to make those shots. And just like with Paolo, getting some easier shots for him is going to erase this narrative that he's inefficient. He is, for the usage, for the context, for everything else, he is deadly efficient. He just needs some easy shots. And for the Magic to be successful, they need Franz Wagner to find his shot too. Nobody has a good answer for what happened to Franz Wagner in his shooting the last 2 seasons. In fairness to him, he improved his 3-point field goal percentage this year from 28% to 29%. Not ideal, obviously, but far from unsalvageable. And yes, we all noticed it. We all saw it. After Franz came back from his oblique injury, his shot looked different. There was a noticeable hitch in his shot, or noticeable change to his form that he didn't quite get down. And he struggled. Despite this breakthrough season, he averaged 29.5% shooting from 3. His volume went from 4.6 attempts per game in 2024 to 5.9 per game. If Franz is going to shoot 6 threes per game, he's got to shoot at least at the level he shot his rookie year at 35.4%, or the follow-up year in 2023 at 36.1%. Why Franz's shot fell apart? A lot of it seems more mental than mechanical. A lot of it seems more, it was in his head. And Franz is first to tell you, he gets down on himself. He is as hard on himself as anybody else. And those misses weighed on him as much as it frustrated Magic fans, as much as it frustrated everyone else. And look, Franz does so many other things good. He is still an advanced stats darling, even without a 3-point shot. But there's no Magic run to a title. There's no Magic advancing deep into the playoffs without Franz Wagner finding his 3-point shot, without Franz Wagner taking that step. And everybody's trying to figure it out. We'll get a good look at it at Eurobasket at the end of August. Franz was the first to admit at exit interviews that he has to work on his shot, that he knows that is the weakness. He knows that's what he has to improve on. The Magic have their work cut out for him, and Franz has his work cut out for him because the Magic can't solve this. This is only something Franz can solve. The Magic know they needed to add a player like Desmond Bane, a high-volume shooter who can create space for everybody else. But when you add a player of that caliber, the pressure flips back onto your 2 best players, onto your best players, onto the people that carry you. And the pressure is now on Paolo to be more efficient, to be a more effective decision maker. And the pressure is now on Franz to relieve the tension, provide some shooting so that Desmond Bane can be the best player he can be, on top of him helping the Magic's best players be the best player they can be. The Oklahoma City Thunder are your NBA champions. Lessons from their Game 7 victory. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. With Monarch Money, you find surprising insights, like realizing just how much you're spending on food delivery so you can now budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, their all-in-one convenience allows you to use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. The NBA Finals are over. The Oklahoma City Thunder pull away from the Indiana Pacers in the second half for a huge 103-91 victory to win the NBA championship. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Please listen to our friend Rylan Stiles, who I hope is recovered from the celebrations at Paycom Center for complete coverage on the Thunder side. Locked On NBA also has great coverage of the NBA Finals. I always think it is important to look at the lessons we can learn from these championship runs and these championship teams. We'll get to the Pacers side of things. Tomorrow, I think we'll do a more global look at the East and where the Magic stand and how the East is going to look. Because the East is all jumbled up now. There is no avoiding it. About late in the first quarter, Tyrese Halliburton goes down with the Achilles injury. It does not look good. It did not look good live. It did not look good on the 20,000 replays ESPN chose to show of it. It was not good. We all knew it immediately. We've seen enough of these to know exactly what it is. And as I'm recording this, it has not been confirmed what it is, but it's not looking good for him. It's not looking good for the Pacers. And ultimately, that is, I think, the lesson of the Thunder's championship run. The Thunder were the best team all season. They are a worthy champion. They were the favorites coming in. They got the job done. They had shaky moments. Every team has shaky moments. Think back to 2009. The Magic were down 2-1 to Philadelphia in the first round of that series, and the first round against the Sixers. They needed that Hedo Turkoglu game winner to avoid going to a 3-1 hole. The margins of winning and losing in the playoffs are incredibly small. The Thunder faced a Game 7 against Denver, and if Aaron Gordon hadn't injured his calf, maybe the Thunder don't advance. Maybe Denver does. A lot of things have to break the right way for you to win championships. And ultimately, that's what I think is the ultimate lesson of what the Thunder did. Winning a championship is a combination of talent and opportunity. There are people who are just rage merchants, who are just outrage merchants, who are already calling the Thunder's championship kind of the injured championship. They played the Grizzlies when they weren't fully healthy. They played the Nuggets with Aaron Gordon out. They played the Wolves instead of the Warriors or the Lakers or whoever else. They played the Pacers and Tyrese Halliburton got hurt. But guess what? Injuries are a factor in every playoffs. Injuries are a factor in every series. And ultimately, you play the team that's in front of you. And if you beat them, you beat them. Like I said, the Thunder were the best team all season. It is not a shock that they won the championship. It shouldn't be looked down upon that they won the title. They won the title. Whether you think it should have taken them 7 games, beat Indiana, that's frankly disrespectful to Indiana, because they were a very good team and they played exceptionally well toward the end of the season. They earned their way in. This was their second straight conference finals. Indiana did things that bothered Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City showed their youth. They're one of the youngest championship teams in NBA history. They showed their youth because they looked uncertain. Indiana cut into the swagger that led Oklahoma City all the way to the finals. And it wasn't really until the third quarter of Game 7 that you started to see Oklahoma City take a breath and play their game. It was Chet Holmgren finally finding his shot and finally finding a way to impact the game offensively on top of his defense. And then to some extent, in Game 7, just like Game 7 in the second round with Denver, it was Indiana running out of gas. It was the emotions of losing their best player, of trying to fight uphill for so long, and the boulder finally crushing Sisyphus in the end. But that's how playoffs go. Remember back when we previewed Game 5 with John Corrales? And I said, I think the Magic are going to be competitive in this game, but we all kind of know how this goes. In elimination games and series like that, a team can be willing, a team can be ready, a team can do all these things, but then they get hit with that big run, and suddenly they're staring their mortality in the face. Suddenly they are staring down the end of the season, and they get desperate. And that desperation either leads them to come back and win, or it leads to them getting absolutely crushed. The Magic probably played their best first half of that entire series in Game 5. The Magic were leading at halftime. They looked really good. They looked really comfortable. They came out on fire. And then Paolo Banchero got his 3 fouls in the third quarter. Had 5 fouls, had to sit. The Magic were at a loss. They didn't have the ability to sustain. And even, honestly, until that final minute and a half when Jamal Mosley took Franz Wagner out to just kind of give him some rest before the fourth quarter, the Magic were only down 7 or 10. It was doable. They lost the lead. They lost grip. They were climbing uphill, but they lost it. And then Boston put on a couple threes, went up by like 16, 17 points at the end of the third quarter, and everybody knew it was over. Eventually, the lead ballooned to 30, and we had our first blowout of the series. Opportunity and talent. That's how these things go when you're facing your mortality, when you're facing the end of the season. Obviously, the Thunder are a special team. Let's not take away anything from them. They had the best defense in the league this season. They have a dynamic offense. They have the MVP of the league. The Thunder are a really good basketball team. And to copy them is to, A, have an identity, which the Magic have. The Thunder were first in defensive rating. The Magic were second. But it's to have also the personnel and the players who step up. The Thunder are not a championship team if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not the MVP or is not an MVP level. So again, that's why I say, like, the pressure's on Paolo to reach that level, to find that next level, to be whatever the Magic need him to be a better decision maker, to be more efficient and precise in how he attacks. It's on the secondary stars playing their role. The Magic now have an increase in talent. I would put the Magic's starting 5 against any starting 5 in the East. Honestly, if you're ranking starting 5s across the East, considering injuries, Cleveland and New York are the only teams that are probably better than Orlando at this point. No one's taking Detroit. No one's taking Milwaukee. No one's taking Miami. We'll see what Boston ends up doing, but no one's taking Boston without Jason Tatum. The Magic are in that stratosphere now. They've got the talent. And now it's just going to be about, do the breaks go your way? Does that opportunity come? Do you get a favorable matchup in the first round? Do you get a surprising matchup in the second round? Does an injury hit at the wrong time for the other team? Do you avoid the serious injury? Like, look, Desmond Bane doesn't play every game. Desmond Bane has an injury history. He plays, he'll miss 15 games. Are the Magic going to be able to survive those games? Are the Magic going to be able to move forward? Opportunity. If the door opens, are you going to go through it? And look, at the end of the day, that's what the Magic saw. Jeff Wellman can tell us all he wants, that this isn't about what the rest of the East is doing and who the rest of the East is. He said this when I asked him about it, just like looking at the landscape of the East. Do you see this as an opportunity? And he said, look, our goal is to win a championship, not just to win the East. But undoubtedly, the timing worked out. The Magic had this one last chance to add salary and make this big splashy move. And look, they still have work to do this offseason to add to their team, to make them better. The Magic still have work to be a championship level team. But undoubtedly, they saw this opportunity. The East is wide open. Orlando, granted, Cleveland won a game by 40 against Orlando this year. Orlando feels like they match up well with Cleveland. Go listen to Locked On Cavs. I read plenty of Cleveland blogs who looked at what the Magic did with Desmond Bane and were a little worried because the Magic match up well with Cleveland. They took them to 7 games. They remember it. They remember how hard that series was for them. The Magic match up well with Indiana. New York's had some strong games against Orlando, but Orlando's had some really impressive games against New York. Even Boston. None of us thought the Magic were going to win that series, but anyone who watched the Magic play the Celtics understood the Magic gave Boston some problems. Boston fans understood that Orlando wasn't the best matchup for them in that first round. Opportunity is there if the Magic continue to improve and continue to add to their roster. Because that's where we are. The Magic have this chance. And we'll see what they do with it. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Sorry for coming out a little bit later than I intended. Late nights as always. But I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all of them links you download podcasts to your podcast-enabled device. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Just search for Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, the Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. Now that you're done listening to me, be sure to check out the Locked On NBA Mock Draft. It's a 5-episode series with the most comprehensive NBA draft analysis from NBA experts to college experts and NBA draft experts. Find the 2025 Locked On NBA Mock Draft on NBA Big Board and Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. As always, appreciate everybody who listens. That's going to do it for me, though, today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. For Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossbank. We'll be back tomorrow to chat a little bit more about what the Eastern Conference looks like now, and we'll see what else comes up throughout the day. But until then, for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossbank. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.